Thank you. Shri Pradyut Bordoloi ji.
Thank you, ma'am. Exactly about fortnight before the Honorable Finance Minister presented her budget, the C voter carried out a survey asking respondents about what would be the anticipation of the budget and beyond the budget. Madam, you'll be surprised to know when the figures were given to the public, about 37% of the people, they responded saying, irrespective of the goodies that probably would be forthcoming in the budget, that life of common people would only be getting harder for another 1 year or before and after that. Madam, you'll be surprised to know that 2/3 of the respondents say that the prices have only been skyrocketing since 2014. About 50% respondents have said that the inflation has directly hit their lives and it is becoming worse. Madam, this is the highest level of pessimism probably registered in over a decade. And Madam, these are not cold statistics. These are the real fears, these are the real apprehensions, real struggles, and real agonies. So I hope that the Finance Minister and the government try to understand the fear of the common people. Madam, in 1991, when former Finance Minister, late Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh presented his budget, he quoted Victor Hugo. He said that no force on earth can stop a good idea that whose time has come. And indeed, he presented an epoch-making budget which has really did a course correction, set a new paradigm of development for the country. And today, after more than over the 2 decades, we are still basking on the path that was set out by Dr. Manmohan Singh in 1991. But more than 2 decades, our Finance Minister has given a budget. Frankly speaking, I don't see any new idea that has been translated or given or added a new dimension to the people of India for enhancing the quality of life here. Madam, yes, much to the hulabaloo of this income tax rebate up to 12 lakhs rupees. But I would like to point out that by raising the bar of the relaxation of the income tax up to 12 lakhs rupees, it has benefited or it is going to benefit only 2% of the total population. But what about the rest 98% of our population who have been left in the lurch? Madam, today I would like to cite just 4 examples of 4 persons, common people. And I hope that the Honorable Finance Minister take note of the aspirations of these people whose cases I am going to cite. Madam, when our leader, Rahul Gandhi ji, when he spoke while thanking the President of India on her speech, he did stand up here and gave, instead of criticizing the government, he did give a new narrative. He said a new narrative before the people of India through this parliament. Similarly, we are not here just to criticize the budget, but I would like to give a new alternative, new paradigm, if necessary, if Honorable Finance Minister can take note of this. And I would like to provide alternative proposals against these 4 examples that I want to give. Madam, just a fortnight before this budget was placed, I met A daily wage earner in my constituency, Hopunti Hajorika, daily wage earner, he told me that in spite of getting 5 kg rice under Garib Kalyan Yojana, but his family is going through a dire strait because he has cut all the expenses. In Assamese, he said, Hokolu faltu kharas bondho kori dil. That means he cut all the frills of his life because the monthly expenses of his family has doubled, whereas the wages that he earns, that has been remaining stagnant. So that is why he asked me that how much longer we can survive like this. This is one area. So that is why here I would like to point out what is the government that has failed. The rising prices of all commodities without meaningful relief from your side. Honorable Finance Minister, no major intervention to curb inflation beyond some vague fiscal targets. And widening income disparity with corporate tax brackets, but no direct support for the struggling families. Madam, here is the alternative proposal from us. Expand and strengthen food security. Increase allocation of PDS, universalize free ration distribution for next 2 years. Number B, increase MG and Rega wages and expand minimum work days. Raise daily wages to match inflation and ensure 150 guaranteed work day instead of 100. C, direct income support. Expand cash transfers for low-income families modeled after the global best practices in inflation relief. And reduce GST on essentials, slash GST on food, medicines, medical insurance, and household staples to each daily cost. Madam, another example I want to give, I met this young graduate from Orissa, Dipankar Mahapatra, about a month ago in a railway compartment, just 25-year-old, and what he told me during the conversation, that for the last 3 years, he's been applying for jobs. And he's told me a degree means nothing anymore because there are no jobs. I was wondering, talking to him, how would I instill hope in his mind? Because he is in a hopeless situation. Madam, where did the government fail? Honorable Finance Minister has been given this budget, annual budget, this is the 8th time. But where have this government failed? Unemployment at a decade high level despite of a perceptibly high GDP growth. Skilling programs with the changing times that fail to translate into job placements. And MSME and unorganized sector, India's largest job creators, are struggling due to poor credit access and centralizing of economic activities. Madam, here is our prescription from our side. Expansion of economic activities. Put more money in the pockets of the lowest income groups so that demand for consumption increases. One doesn't have to be an economist to know, it's a common sense that if you put more money in the pockets of the common people who live in the lower strata of economic pyramid, actually our economy expands and the canvas of economic activities also proliferates. And that's how demand for consumption and demand at jobs are created. But this government is doing nothing. Public sector hiring push should be given. Fill 2 million plus existing government jobs, vacancies within the next year. Demand-driven skilling program and MSME revival fund is utmost necessary. At the same time, like MG and Rega, urban employment guarantee scheme should be initiated. A national employment guarantee program for cities modeled on MG and Rega should be also initiated in this country. Madam, third example I want to give. This is This is Nidhiram Bordoloi, another farmer from my constituency, madam. Has been a farmer, but vagaries of nature, the untimely floods, all his crops are destroyed. So he doesn't have a future. What he told me, our land and waters have become unreliable. Yet this budget does nothing to protect us. Your failure, no dedicated climate resilience fund despite extreme weather losses, lack of disaster insurance for small farmers and unorganized workers, and weak urban climate planning leading to flooding and heat waves. Madam, these are the few examples that I wanted to give. And these actually reflect the aspirations of the people. And Madam, I want to say just few words before I conclude. Madam, it is not a stupid idea that an elected representative like me stand up and say something. What I would like to say, that life continues, but we have to try to make life more meaningful. And that is why I'm saying your budget you may have tried to solve a popularity problem of your government, but it has not solved the problems of our people. It has not given new idea, new dimension, or it has not addressed the feeling of hopelessness that is all pervading in our country. Thank you.
Shri Alok Kumar Sumanji.